All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Akakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video on how the dysfunction and the just grossness and disgustingness of the heathen is going to be clearly shown when the nation of Israel is in power. And I'm not even too sure what scriptures I'm going to bring out in this lesson, man, but I just had that thought, and then I just vocalized it and recorded it and made it into a short, small second video or whatever, so that I can remember the thought process that I'm having. And then now I've decided to turn it into a video, man. But yeah, how gross the heathen are is going to be clearly shown when we are in our power, because as it stands right now anyway, everyone's got there's a heavy magnifying glass on the children of Israel, and everyone talks about us like we're just the offscouring of the world, like we're just the main problem in everyone's life. But when we're actually around these heathen ourselves and we actually look at them, we can see how disgusting they are, man. Because one of the things that the curses made us have to do is go to our enemy for the want of all things. And whenever we're around our enemies, these other nations, we can see how these people are gross and they're disgusting, man. Now, I know one scripture I can go to show that Esau is definitely going to be looked at like, man, who the hell is this geezer when we're in the kingdom? This is Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? And that's going into how the Israelites are going to look at him like that, and how also the other nations are going to look at him like that. However, the weirdness of these other nations is going to be seen by us as well when we're in our kingdom, man, because we're going to be perfect. We ain't going to do nothing wrong. We're going to be looking at these heathen nations. We're going to be examining them according to the laws of Yahweh, and we're going to find that these people are weird. We're going to find that these people are selfish, that these people are greedy, that these people are cruel, that these people are now that they have to actually act according to the law or become cursed themselves, that these people are sinners, like they was always claiming to be. And then now that these nations are in the real position of being spiritually Israel, they cannot keep up with the standards. Just like how we couldn't keep up with the standards when we was in that situation, except the heathen are never going to have that light at the end of the tunnel where they become like us. Whereas we always had it promised to us that Yahweh was going to take us away from that sinful loophole, that continual cycle of sinning and then being cursed and then being in our kingdom for a time and then cursed again. Is Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we'll walk in his paths. Whereas right now, people try and just look at our ways as though we're the biggest scumbags in the world. Yet at the same time as they're doing that, they're trying to emulate Esau, who's a nation of people that are going to eventually be extinct. Isn't it crazy how Yahweh has actually pulled that one in the earth and made the nation that he's selected to be immortal? He's made them be looked at as disgusting right now. And the nation that he's picked to become extinct, he's made them look as though they know what they're talking about. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem, and he shall judge among the nations. We're going to be judging the nations, telling them right from wrong, and rebuke the people. When we see them doing wrong, we're going to rebuke them and judge them according to the law, and they shall beat their swords into places. We're going to take away the violence from the earth, because as much as these nations want to try and call Jake violent, yeah, how many ICBMs do the Israelites have? How many ICBMs have so-called black people made? In fact, most of the nations that actually have access to the most violent weapons on earth are not so-called black people. So who's really violent down here, man? And because the limelight and the magnifying glass is heavy upon the children of Israel right now, where people are just tutting themselves and kissing their teeth and shaking their head and shaking their hand at the children of Israel's wickedness, right? Just wait till we start to look at, when we start examining the best of the heathen and the worst of the heathen, we're going to be disgusted, man. We're going to be completely repulsed. And there's even plenty of videos right now that show how dysfunctional Esau is for damn sure. But certain things when it comes to the other heathen nations we don't see. Because it's hidden right now because we're not around them like that all the time. We're not around them like that all the time now. So certain things that they do fly under the radar, certain of their theft and criminality and wickedness is hidden from our eyes. Because we're too focused right now on fixing up our own selves and worrying about Esau's fall. So our mind's mainly on Esau's wickedness right now, which we can clearly see that. But if we started examining these other nations, we're going to start seeing their wickedness as well, man. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, which they're doing, by the way. Right now, these other nations, like, for example, many people don't really know, but there's certain friction between Elam and Moab when they get around each other, man. But we don't really know the ins and outs of that properly because things are heavily upon us right now. But when it really shows, when we're in charge, man, we're going to see how disgusting these nations are, man, and how dumb they are compared to us. Neither shall they learn war anymore, right? And that's that prophecy for the future that we're going to, when the children of Israel are in charge, which proves that the people that are in charge right now, right, and the people that are in the land of Israel right now are not the children of Israel, because if they were, they would be doing this. They'd be judging the nations and rebuking them and judging according to the laws of Yahweh, but they're not doing that. And there'd be no more war on earth. But they're not doing it, are they? They're not doing it. We're literally getting pushed towards World War III on earth. But if them people were really the children of Israel, they'd be rebuking America, they'd be rebuking Russia, they'd be rebuking Ukraine, and they wouldn't be doing no war themselves neither. But they're not doing it, are they? Why? 1948 was supposed to be something, right? Obviously it weren't shit. Because nothing ain't changed. In fact, there was war pretty close after that took place. And no one's plowshares are being turned into spears. No one's swords are being turned into plowshares, are they? In fact, the agriculture thing's getting worse. But the swords getting strengthened under their thing. So obviously they ain't it. They obviously are the complete opposite of the children of Israel. And what's the complete opposite of the children of Israel? An Edomite. Too many of people shall be separated from their bowels. Just like Yahweh said in Genesis, the 25th chapter, man, two completely different types of people. If they're completely different type of people to the children of Israel is to be in charge, agriculture, things that you'd use for plowshares for, would be decreased. And the sword, things that you use for unaliving people, would be increased, and that's what's happening. So obviously they're Edomites, obviously. But I digress, right? When it comes to this whole thing of these heathen nations, man, we're going to really see how disgusting they are, man. When we're in charge, we're going to see. Whereas right now, people have got their eyes all on Israel. They're watching what we're saying. They're watching what we're doing. And like, see, but black people, blah, blah, blah. What about you? Oh, black people, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but what about Moab? Blah, 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 blah. And Elam? What are y'all under? And what about Ishmael? What are you saying? What are y'all saying about what are you doing in life? And what about Esau? Even Japhet, man. Them man love getting tattooed up. What they love that. We're gonna start examining all these nations. We're gonna be like, y'all are dirty, man. We're gonna be walking through, examining our parts of the king that we've been given charge of, and we're like, what's that smell, man? Why every time I come through here does it smell like cooking dog or something, man? I'm gonna be looking at more, be like, we're gonna be flying in them chariots, man. We're like, listen, oh my days, man. You smell that ark? And your ark's gonna say back to you, yeah, I smell that. I smell it. I smell what you're smelling, It stinks, innit? And you're like, you know what, reverse the chariot, man. Reverse. And we're gonna set in the coordinates 1444 2.0 with 777 Moab Town. Park up, man. We're gonna jump down like some next level Avengers or something, man. Some next superhero, jump down right into the midst of the food market. Garments flapping in the wind with the fringes. right? Crowns on heads, eyes twinkling, full of the spirit of Yahweh by Shem. I'm like, yo, what's that smell, man? They're here. Yeah, we're here, man. What the hell's that smell? Didn't we tell you last time when we came through? No monkey meat cooking business round here, man. Didn't we tell you last time? And y'all thought it still was a game, yo. Didn't we tell you don't cook no monkey meat round here? The monkeys are supposed to do monkey things, man. That's not your meal, man. Monkeys have got another usage. Didn't we tell you last time? When we're in our children of Israel thing in our land, we ain't cooking no monkey meat, man. You hungry? Eat some chicken, bruh. You hungry? Eat some fish that have fins and scales, man. Eat some animal that chew off the cud and it's got a cloven foot. No monkeys, man. They damn near got hands. Do you know what I mean? But like monkeys are damn near got hands, man. What you doing? No monkey meat, man. And we're gonna rebuke them for that. If we go around Elam and we start seeing that it's looking like there's some rodent infestation, and we're gonna like, yo, why the hell every time we come through Elam town, through Elam's quarters, why the hell is there always these rats running around, man? And it stinks around here too. And listen, man, I like a cheeky madras every now and again. Yeah. I like a cheeky little vindaloo every now and again as well. And your brother might be like, yeah, me too, you know. I like that as well. It's nice, isn't it? There might be a guy out there, but like, yeah, I like a curry too every now and again. There might be an Ishika, right? Yeah, I like curry too, huh? Yeah, it's good, huh? What other tribes too? Benjamin, love yam curry, you know. It's gonna be all that. And we're like, yeah, I like it too, but I don't remember ever smelling like it. And we're gonna address the stench. Now, some people might be like, oh, this guy is going on a mad one. Mate, we're gonna be going on a mad one in righteousness in the kingdom. We're gonna be addressing all the disgustingness of these nations, man. And eventually, if there's a nation that's known for stinking, certain of them ain't gonna stink no more because we're gonna address that stench. Right? Whereas all these other nations have got everything to say under the heavens towards us as Jakes, right? But they never went out of their way to fix the problem that they had a problem with us with. They went out of their way to magnify it. So, oh, you black people are thugs and you're listening to rap music. Okay, but when your president does something grimy, y'all use rap music to promote what he did and to magnify it as if it's something good. So if rap music's such a problem, why y'all keep giving rappers $1 million record deals if it's so bad that rap music is this and that? Why do your own children be the main ones paying for these rappers' concerts? Because when you go to a concert in any of these countries where there's a rapper there, the main people you're going to see in the crowd is so-called white people. They love rap music. They're the main ones buying all the music. They're the main ones buying all this Chicago drill rap, talking about some Tuka and all this, not realizing that Tuka was a 15-year-old that got murdered, unalived by another fellow Israelite of his in some pointless gang wars. So don't try and say nothing about us. We're gonna see what y'all are saying when it's our time, man. When we're in power, we're gonna be looking at you nations the same way you look to us, and we're gonna be scanning you with our eyes, and we're like, y'all are disgusting, man. We're gonna be looking at Ishmael doing 20,000 laps Grand Prix Formula One style around black stones. We're like, yo, y'all man are off. You know what I mean? Y'all man was talking all this, don't drink alcohol, brother. Don't drink alcohol, brother. It's haram, brother. Mate, you know what else is haram? Being a straight chichi man out here. That's haram too, you know? But y'all must have not got the memo on that part. Y'all must have not got the memo on that. Being a chich is haram too. Y'all are for saying everything's haram, but y'all are not making it haram that he ram. You know what I mean? Y'all not making it haram that he rams. Anyway, Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 7. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. That's all these other nations, man. When we're in our kingdom, the dysfunction of these people is going to be shown, man. And Esau is going to be exposed, yeah, that Esau was never brotherly. You see how, like, Esau right now, how they're dysfunctional against their own people. And I've said this out of my mouth a couple of times about Esau, because now that we're in under this thing, we examine these people when we're buying, man, because we filter them through the scriptures. Esau is not brotherly, right? They don't like each other, right? These Edomites don't really like each other. They just hate everyone else more. And there's a scripture that says they only consult to cast them down from his excellency. And one of the things that comes into my mind when I think about that scripture is basically saying, as well as what it does say, that these Edomites can only get together to bring the Israelites down. You see? They can only really get together and work well together to bring the Israelites down. But outside of when they're trying to do anything else with each other, there's friction. But when it comes to destroying the children of Israel, they all know exactly how to do that together. They always get on code for that. But when it comes to getting on code for actually trying to be righteous as a nation of people together, they can't do that, man. And that's why right now, let's go to this. Yahweh setting up the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they're all on this left, right BS. They're all on this, did you or didn't you take the C19er? There's divides between these demons, right? But them divides was always there. It's just that now the blame a black man trick ain't working as much no more, because they're starting to realize that the black man, the so-called black man or an immigrant, ain't the result of these particular problems that they got. But they want to come with that, it's the elites, and all this, mate. Fuck all that. That's between you and your people, man. Don't try and get us in the mix, because y'all are our enemy too. Oh, the problem's not between us, it's between you and us and the elites. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so you're on our team, aren't you? Yeah, right. If the elites solve the problem that you've got right now, would you still be saying all that? Would you be like, come on, guys, stop trying to loot the societies. Stop, you're messing things up. You wouldn't be caring no more. You'd go silent like you always have. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And that's going to happen. All the dysfunction of all these different nations, man, amongst themselves, the problems they've got amongst themselves are going to be shown, man. Like how, for example, among certain of these Ishmaelites and these Elamites and that, yeah, they'll try and, I heard this before, man, going back like probably, and it's just sprung back to my mind now, going back to like 19 years old, a family member of mine was dating some heathen, right? And someone came to the house to give him some food, right? Some like fruit curry or something like that. And they said thank you at the door. But then when it came to actually eating the meal, they threw it in the bin. And I was like, why did you throw it in the bin? It was like, man, they probably put a curse on that. You know what I mean? They said they probably put a curse on the food. So we ain't eating that. They're trying to curse us, really. And they threw it in the bin. So they've got things that they go on with their people too, man. But the limelight's always on Jake. Oh, black people kill black people. Okay, so in India, when there's people getting unalived, and there's mostly Indians over there, who's doing that then? Okay, in Moab land, when Moabite, is there murder or unaliving among Moab? Yes. So who's doing that? In the cities where there's mainly Esau and there's people getting unalived, who's doing that? Oh, black people are the biggest thieves, so blah blah blah, and then they're most racist. Okay, but when things are getting stolen from other countries in the world where we ain't, who's doing that stealing? You see how it works? When we do, if I commit a crime right now today, they try and blame, if they found out that I was a Hebrew Israelite, they try and blame all Israelites. And they try and blame black people as well. But here's the thing, if I do something that's off, that would be me being off. It wouldn't be nothing that nobody else does. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but I'm just using it as an example. Like if they caught the apostles doing something wrong, they'd say, oh, see, the Hebrew Israelites are wicked and wicked. But when they see the president of America doing things wrong, they don't blame all Americans under that. Or he's just the president doing it. Or they'll justify it because he's the president. Or the president waiting for making it lawful, or trying to make it justify waiting for oil filled boats to rob him. That's okay. But if somebody waits for people with that have just went shopping for some nice clothes, rich expensive clothes, and they wait for their car to get into a secluded place and pull them over and rob them, oh, that's wrong. You're stealing. But they're stealing though on a way bigger scale. What that person might have accumulated up to $5,000, but what they're stealing comes up to billions or millions. And that's what I mean with this world. They always justify some madness, man. It's demons, man. But when we're in our kingdom, we're going to examine these people. It's going to be shown, right? It's going to be shown how corrupt and dysfunctional they are. Whereas right now, certain things like that are pushed under the radar, and everyone's kind of just come at us all the time. They don't really come after them like that. What they do is not really seen because the world's trying to blame us and accuse us to try and maintain the kingdom. They're trying to, in fact, let me go to the book of Judith. They're trying to keep us sinning so that they can keep their kingdom going for just that little bit more. And the ways that these heathen lived was always sins in Yahweh's eyes anyway. We was told not to follow after them. Them following after us would not have ever been a problem. But us following after them is a problem. Judith chapter 5 and verse 17, and whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hateth iniquity was with them. Now, these things that this guy here was saying, which I believe his name was Achior, the things that this man was saying, yeah, Achior was his name, the things that this man was saying, and whilst they sinned not, the things that we was doing to sin not was being completely different to his nation that he's from. But then when we were sinning, we was actually copying what the nation he's from was doing. Isn't it fascinating? So these nations were used to be watching us and be like, okay, just wait for them to start acting. Like he was basically saying, if he was to just say it in plain speech, while the Israelites are not living like us and they're living according to their own ways, they're protected. But if we start seeing them live like us, then we can judge them. So if you have to say that about a group of people, if you have to say that about a whole nation of people, what does that say about your people? Then they ain't shit, obviously. Your people are scumbags if that's the case. And that's Esau. If Esau starts, just imagine Esau saying this. Let's watch the Israelites. Oh, they're living their own ways. They're living like their own laws. Leave them alone. We can't take them down. Okay, they're starting to live like us. Okay, now they're weakened. Now we can get them. So if that's how you have to treat the Israelites, obviously you know that they're better than you then. Because if you're so great, when they're living like you, that should be when they're in their strength. And if all that goes for all these other nations as well, the Achior, when he was saying this about the Ammonites, I believe it was the Ammonites, right? Yeah, Ammon. Right? If that's the case, when we was living according to the Ammonite ways or according to some heathen ways, that should be when we would have been weakened. But that's not what the case was, though, is it? It was when we was living like the heathen, that's when we're weakened. So what does that say about the heathen ways then? That obviously garbage. Obviously. Verse 17 again, and whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hateth iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into the land that was not theirs, and the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and his cities were taken by their enemies, which the enemies that took them down, the Israelites was probably copying their ways. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that insane? These nations was able to take us down when we copied them. But them trying to copy us to try and take us down would never work. Isn't that a fascinating way that Yahweh's put us in? Or if you Israelites start copying these nations, I'm taking them down. I'm taking you down, excuse me. But when we're in the kingdom, in our kingdom, right, are we not going to be making the heathen nations try and copy our ways of living? And that's not going to give them no strength to take us down. Yet the ways that we're living is going to be the reason why we have the strength to not be taken down. Isn't that amazing? I think that's quite hilarious, to be honest with you. Because if we try and copy Esau's ways to take him down, That would not work, right? That would not work, man. But the ways that's going to make us be able to take Esau down is by keeping our own ways. Yet the way that's going to be, and that's going to be what's going to make us be ruling forever. Yet the heathen nations trying to copy the perfect ways that God made, right? The main people that way has power for are the children of Israel because of the covenant that we was given. Deuteronomy 28:1. If you keep the laws, I'm going to set you on high above all people upon the face of the earth. That's the situation that we've been put in, man. Isn't it amazing? I think that's absolutely hilarious. We can't be taken down because of that, man. We're separate from y'all. We're different, man. Verse 19, but now they are returned to their God and have come up from the places where they were scattered and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now, and we're going to go back to this same place again, man. Wherever this place was, we're going to go there and populate that again. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against his people, meaning that they're keeping the ways of the heathen, which would have even been keeping the ways of the Ammonites in that time, and they sin against their God, which sinning against our God is really just copying any way that the heathens live, any way that any other group of people live, other than our way, that's sinning. Let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we be reproached before the Lord. And that's what's going to happen to Esau, man. Because the remnant of the children of Israel, even though we're not keeping all the laws perfectly, because of Yahweh Shai because of Yahweh Shai's blood covering us, that's what's going to make us seem like we've been doing the right thing. And Yahweh's going to look at Esau trying to harm us as though we had been keeping all the law, because all the laws that we were not keeping is going to be covered by Yahweh Shai's blood. And that's going to mean that Esau's trying to harm us unjustly because we've been made exempt from sin, not because we're keeping the laws, but because Yahweh Shai's blood's covering us. So all you heathen nations that try and say we don't recommend or we don't praise Yahweh Shai, you're liars and you're demons, man. We praise Yahweh Shai and we think Yahweh Shai is very relevant, and I just explained it why. I just explained why we're exempt from judgment, not because of us keeping the law, but because we believe in the sacrifice that Yahweh Shai gave for our sins. So therefore, when you nations try and bother us, you're actually trying to bother some people that are exempt. So you're going to be judged for that. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh is going to lift up a standard against you, man. And it's going to be hilarious to see too. It's going to be hilarious to see. I think I'll end the lesson there, man. When the children of Israel are in our land and when we're in our perfection, the dysfunction and the grossness of the heathen nations is going to be shown, man. All praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem Rakak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. Shalom.